Hey guys, how are you doing? Well, we've got a cold spring day. It's not even actually spring yet. It's really still technically winter. But I've got a couple of nice days here. It's going to be a little bit warmer. And then it's going to cool off for a couple days, and then we're going to get a real nice blast of spring weather. So what I'm going to do is do some fertilizing. What I wanted to do this year was put down some crabgrass preventer. Well, last year we had quite a bit of crabgrass around here, and it was really the only thing left in this yard that wasn't what I wanted to have here. So, you know, we had a year and a half ago when we moved in here, there was probably more clover than grass all around this property, and I was able to take care of most of that with some 2,4-D. Last year I noticed we had nimblewill as well as the clover, and I had gotten some tenacity, and then of course with the crabgrass, the tenacity worked on that as well, so I was able to knock that out. That was all in the fall, but what I'd like to do this year is get a head start on that and keep that crabgrass and a lot of the other weeds from ever coming up. So let me show you what I've got. Alright, so this year what I'm going to do is start out with a Scotts Turf Builder with Halts Crabgrass Preventer that has lawn food. And one thing I was looking at with this is the numbers on here is 30, 0, and 4. So 30% nitrogen, which is going to help it green up real good, especially here after winter. And it's got 0% phosphorus and 4% potassium. So what I was looking for with what I want to do here, like I said, the main goal with this is to prevent the crabgrass from even coming in this year. And I'm doing it a little bit early. I'll be honest, I know that, but I'll just do it again in, you know, midsummer just to make sure, because this yard was looking really good except for that. Let me give you a quick tour of the property here. So we've got a front yard, and between the front yard and the side here and the little bit that's on the other side, you'll see in a minute, it's roughly 5,000 square feet. And then from about the patio all the way to the back where I stopped planting grass seed last year, I overseeded, and I went back to what ends up being about 25,000 square feet from that fence there to that tree and back. As far as well, you can kind of see where the green stops and the brown starts, and that's really mostly nimblewill back there, not even grass. So that stuff's going to be dead looking for a while, and that all adds up to 30,000 square feet, give or take. It's probably somewhere between 29 and 31. Now, I've never been one to be super specific with my fertilizing, probably to a fault really, but it's just not something I did. What I kind of do, I kind of like a good chef in this restaurant, right? He maybe just puts a dash of this and a sprinkle of that, and then I end up with a good looking lawn, like he ends up with a great tasting dinner. So for whatever that's worth, that's kind of how I do it. So that little bit difference in the square footage, I'm not too worried about it. Now what I'm going to use to spread this is this toe behind spreader that I've got. And you know, I'll tell you what, for anything the size of what my front yard is, and if I had a backyard only that size, I would just use something like this and go around and spread it around. That's how lazy I always was with this stuff. Like I said, I never made it a real specific science. I always got to get exactly this much on this thing, you know. No, I made sure I didn't get overboard or way under on what the amount should be, but if I knew I was generally in the ballpark, I just walk around over a couple thousand square feet with something like that until I was out of the stuff, and it works, you know. I'm gonna try to do kind of the similar thing with this toe behind. I'm gonna set it to open up just enough that, let's see, we're gonna go down to like 2 or 3. Okay, I'm gonna set it so that it opens up just enough to let some through. My goal is to use one of those bags, which covers 15,000 square feet, and tow that around until I'm out. And I'm going to try to have that set like I showed you, with just open a little bit, where when I drive around through the whole area that I want to do, this whole yard up to where I showed you, that I'm pretty much done with that first bag. And if I am, perfect. And if I have a little extra left, or I've ran out a little bit early, then I'll know what to do and make my adjustment. Then I'm going to take the second bag, dump it in the hopper, and I'm going to go in another direction. So for example, in this backyard, I'm going to start out going down the edge, and I'm going to turn around and come back and forth, okay, like this. And to make sure I kind of hit it all, I'm going to do the second bag across in this direction, and that will help make sure that I kind of cover everything in case I end up with a little bit of a miss or a little extra overlap in one spot or the other. So hey, let's get out the tractor and let's hook that thing up, and let's dump a bag in and see what we can do. Now last year I primarily used Milorganite, and that was what got the grass really green. And like I said, I was using 2,4-D and some tenacity to kill off the weeds that I didn't want. Okay, so like I said, each bag will do 15,000 square feet. And I've got 30,000 square feet to cover. So I'm gonna need both bags on the whole thing, but instead of trying to dump them both in and get it exactly right, I'm going to start with one. I'm going to open it just enough to, you know, let it out at a slow rate, hit the whole yard with it. Then I'm going to do it another direction with the other bag, and that'll get me the even coverage that I need. So I'll just have to kind of pay attention to how far it's gone down after I get so far, you know, and just kind of guess at it, you know, and get it down that way. So it'll work. Let's go do it. So one reason I was definitely interested in doing this now, guys, is because we're about to get a little bit of precipitation, even though it's really still late winter. But this stuff also will not be affected by rain, snow, or freezing weather. So if we do have a little more of a winter weather problem, it won't hurt it. All right, that worked out pretty good. Now, I did stop towards the end and readjust it down from about 2 to closer to 3. It's not a big difference. There's 2, there's 3, okay? But it's actually it is a big difference with the way it throws it out. So after I had done the front yard and this backyard and the one side, did the front, the side and the back, I had still maybe maybe about 1/8 of what I poured in there left. So I opened it up just a tick more, finished it off, and now I'm going to leave it where it's set, and I'm going to put the other bag in and do the whole thing again with that little bit more open setting, and that should cover my 30,000 square feet with 2 bags. I'm just trying to be careful not to burn anything by putting down too much in one spot. So that's where the real secret comes, is not to accidentally dump some of it in one spot. Instead, make sure it's always kind of throwing it out there. Pick up some of these clumps a little bit. All right. You can hear this transmission whining a little bit and it's cold. I think I might have to drop that thing out and refill it with oil this spring. All right, let's get this thing going. Alright guys, well, I'm not going to complain about that. I think it went pretty well. So the AgriFab pull behind spreader did a real nice job. I had it set at about 2.5, and this time with that second bag I had gotten the whole thing front and sides and back done, and still had just a little bit left, so I made just a couple more quick passes up and down the backyard here. One quick shoot up the side to the front, made a loop, came back, and then I was empty. I'm sure there's some people out there who are going to say that I ought to be way more specific with the amount I'm putting in any spot, but listen, 30,000 square feet, the 2 bags should cover 30,000 square feet, and I think I got a pretty even coverage on the whole thing. I'll be doing it again in 3 or 4 months. It's what, March, so July I'll probably put another couple bags down so that the whole rest of the summer I don't have crabgrass. And maybe I should do it before that. Leave me a comment and tell me what you think. But you know, I just wanted to show you the quick and dirty version of getting this done, because you know I don't have all the time in the world to mess with it, but I think it got the job done. I hope this helps you out, gives you some ideas anyway of what you can try to accomplish. And you know, being a handy homeowner, well, you got some yard work to do too, guys. Don't forget the yard work.